Welcome to the Polishing Profits podcast, where we discuss all things related to the business of detailing. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, this podcast is for you. In each episode, we'll cover topics ranging from business management to marketing solutions. Here to help you grow your detailing business, your hosts, Nick and Dustin.
Whoop, whoop. What's up?
You know what? We just want to keep every listener out there on their toes. Like, this might be one of the only times I can remember we started early. Right?
Are we
Look
early?
at that.
Are we early? Oh, we are early. Wow.
You know what? You got people there that are just waiting and excited to be, listening to the show. And we're just like, you know what? Let's start early. Let's just rip it.
You know what? Hey, there was thousands and thousands of people just sitting on their hands waiting for this moment. And here we are early, guys. We brought you the good stuff.
Yeah.
And we are excited to be here. It's Friday.
Move the Lysol out of the way.
It was in the shot.
We don't have that sponsorship yet.
No. We don't want to give them this massive fame rush here.
What's new over there on your end, Dustin? What's going on over at EZN?
Rain and cold weather.
What's cold over there? I'm looking out the window. I got snow falling.
Oh no, we have rain, so it's above freezing.
Okay.
It's about 45 degrees probably.
Okay. And you're layered up under your nice new.
I have 3 layers of pants, 3 shirts. Yeah. Yes, yeah, I do. But we don't have heat in our building either. So like I have a heater in my office.
Yeah.
And the girls are like, so cold in here, we don't come in. I'm like, good. That's the reason. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know. On this, it's been kind of a weird week. I'm gonna be honest. We're a little bit of catch up, and then it's kind of like, hey, making the decisions of where we want to put our time. You know what I mean?
Right.
I really wanted to make an effort this week of doing improvements, repairs, year start meetings and stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been a positive, productive week, but it wasn't like crazy. You know what I mean? We've had just the weather hasn't been great.
Yeah. So what's funny about the first few weeks of January is everybody gets this high.
Yeah.
New year, we're doing all these things. We're going to hit these goals. We're going to do this. And the first 2 weeks, you kind of fall flat because sales are usually down. Like sales are not popping off. Like, and usually, so it takes time to see the results from the work you're putting in right now. I put it to a lot of people like losing weight. Like when you decide to start eating right and working out, you are months away from seeing anything.
Yeah.
But if you do that daily, 2 months down the road, you're gonna experience the change.
That's when you'll see the results there and really sort of get that feedback.
Business, marketing, sales is the same exact way. The effort you put in today, you will not see the results until a month or 2 months down the road. But you got to do it consistently. So when you we lost our lights went dim in here.
Hold on, you were about to say something. It was the movie lighting.
Yeah. Oh, it completely went. The screen just completely. I think it timed out. So
he's going blind.
There we go.
He's going okay.
And so as long as it stay on, I don't even need to see it. But okay. So it takes months, right, to see that. So what happens is people are expecting all these big moves in January. Like I'm doing this, I'm doing my KPIs, I'm going to have meetings with my guys every day, and they do it. And the first thing they do is they run out of shit to say in their meeting, or they've forgot their goal and they're off track. And next thing you know, now just get the jobs done. We'll meet later. Okay, that's what happens every time. You can't do that. The things. So
now, we're going to be. Trust me, January is gonna be gone as soon as it came. So it's like
2 weeks.
Yeah. What are you throwing out there to people as a recommendation, saying, hey, how do you stay on that? Those goals.
Write it down. And so we keep Trello boards and we review our Trello board.
We've seen the Trello boards, Dustin. It gives a lot of people anxiety under that roof over there.
So, but that keeps us on task. So the things that we say we're going to do, we ask about them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
Yeah.
So that way it keeps us moving in the right direction. Because if we don't, the next thing, something's going to happen and something's going to bring our attention over here, and now we're going to work on that. And then someone's going to bring our attention over here, and we're going to work on that. And we never have any direction. We never have that clear, like sight or roadmap of where we want to go. And so those tasks keep us on that. If we say we're going to do these things and we say that's what's going to make us a $2 million shop, and that's what we did this year. We said, okay, what takes us to 2 million?
Yeah.
Tell me the things that we can do to get to 2 million. Okay. And we defined it. We sat in a 4-hour meeting and we defined everything we wanted to change, everything that we thought would do it. And then
put it all on the Trello. Put it all on the Trello.
Yep. Department. And so each department has a section, and you don't do all those tasks at once. You don't start all those tasks at once. You start with the easiest, the low hanging fruit, cost you minimal, highest impact, right? Yeah. Low cost, big reward. And we do those things first. And then you get a little win under your belt. It's like, oh man, we did that thing.
We can do this.
Yes. And next thing you know, you start completing cards and you move them over.
And then you get one of the hard ones, and then it just beats you down.
Yeah. It does. So, but that's how it goes. But if you don't have it written down, the first thing that's going to happen is something's going to happen in your shop that's going to get your attention away from what you decided you was going to do. And you're going to work on that thing for a week or two, and then you're going to completely forget about what you decided. And you're going to circle back in like May, and you're going to go, oh shit, we had some goals, didn't we? What was that thing we was going to do again?
We were supposed to be working on.
What was that? Was it 2 or 10 million? I don't know. What
Let's make it 10. Let's make 10
it 10. Why not? There's a guy on Facebook that's so funny. It's like he makes fun of the guys like the Andy Elliott's and the Grant Cardones are like, all right, what you got to do is you got to buy 10 properties or buy 100 properties, and you take that money and you flip it over into this. And so this dude comes on, he's like, he jumps in, he's like, why not 1,000? Why wouldn't I just buy 1,000? If I bought 100,000, it's so funny because it's so true. You're like, well, yeah, like if I had money to buy a 100-room complex, yeah, like. It's so funny. So I feel like that, but we all have the ability to work on our efficiency and our, our processes. So those are free, right? That's free to work on. And so you start there. You start with the low cost, especially in January, because all those dollars are accounted for.
Yeah.
You usually, generally speaking, I mean, most people by the time you get to January, they're out of money, like because you floated through your spring and summer. So you're looking for create efficiency, work on your organic social, work on your outreach, do the things that are free but build business.
Now, if you don't have 200 things on a Trello board, don't worry. Either do I. If you have, I would even say make a list of a top 3 or a top 5. And what you said was the weaknesses. I think starting the year off with your weaknesses, because your strengths are already built up. A lot of those processes, a lot of those systems, a lot of whatever you're doing, you're already doing, and you're doing it well. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, hey, you have that gusto, right? You kind of create that win those first couple of weeks of the weaknesses, right? You're like, man, I'm really excited to go do content creation. God, I hate content creation. But you have that window in January where you're excited for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
At least might as well take advantage of it and work on something that you really don't like doing.
Yeah.
Because I can promise you, as you're getting busier through the year, you're not going to want to do it.
Mm-mm. My suggestion too is pick something that you can get done pretty quick, like a quick win. Yeah. Don't pick, I'm going to clean up my books over the last 3 years, right? Like that is a daunting task that no way in hell you're going to do it. Like you're going to quit. Okay. Yeah. And then you don't do anything after that. If I said I wanted to lose 100 pounds this year, I would simply start by changing a few things, my daily habits, right? I would not start by trying to lose 99 pounds today. I would start by adjusting my daily habits. Okay. And so when we think about like this big goal that we're 2 weeks into, most of us have probably already forgotten all the things we said anyway. It's like, what can we do very quick? I always ask, like, what can we do now? Like, I don't want to have to send it to marketing. I don't want to have to get it to the, the controller to understand if we can spend the money. I want to, like, what can we do today to do that? Like be done by the end of the day.
Yeah. It's good for everybody. When, again, it doesn't matter. Again, and that's why I brought up maintenance and repairs. Even the little stuff you're ordering that's new, the little stuff that's improvement. Everybody in the shop notices it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's simple as we got all new runners. You know what I mean? Just so everything
The
looks
little
clean.
things.
And it's just
organize the chemical room, clean out the bathroom, like hang the toilet paper holder that you've been sitting on the side of the sink for the last 4 years. Like, do
those
these little ones. Yeah.
Because again, when it's slow, that's when you usually have the most headaches. And then if you're doing these little things, it can just create a boost in morale as well.
Oh, it does. It does. You want to come into work. Like, you want to come in. Man,
we doing it, and it's a good place to work.
One cool thing I was doing for a while is so like my house, like we have like a bunch of projects we want to do around the house, right?
Yeah.
And it was overwhelming to me because I'm like, last thing I want to do is when I get home, I want to think about this list. Like, I just don't want to do it. So we said, well, we're going to do one thing every evening.
Yeah.
And so like, and it could be like small, like something simple, like the sock drawer, like I got some old socks that I always just move around. And I like pull these old.
No one wants to hear about that sock drawer.
I got holes in my underwear. I'm like, why am I holding on to these? Like I'm going to need them again.
I'm going to hold on to that. And I'm going to bring it up and ask you if that sock drawer is good in a couple months,
But the win, and here's what happens. You clean out the sock drawer.
Yeah.
The next morning you wake up and you go and you're like, holy shit, this is nice. There's my single pair of socks. I'm going to pick these guys up and I'm going to wear them.
I don't know if everyone's having that reaction as you are.
Dude, for me, an organized sock drawer is like life-changing shit. I could go it's easier for me to run for president than it would be to organize a sock drawer.
Yeah.
And I would be more excited about the sock drawer than in the bed.
Yeah, it's the little things that make you tick, Dustin. I'm telling you. Yeah,
it is big time. And I hate doing them. I hate it. Like I'm like, I'd rather solve the hardest problem in the world than go organize my closet.
Yeah,
I wear about that much of the clothes in there, and there's 12 feet of clothes.
I've got about 100 of these black shirts. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? I don't.
Dude, I don't want to think about what I'm wearing. I want to walk in there and it be looking at me. Matter of fact, I have this great idea. I hope somebody develops it so I don't have to. I think we should have an app where we can take pictures of all of our clothes and AI puts it together into matching, matching outfits that are like look good, Yeah. And then it's like, okay, it randomizes. What am I wearing today? Tink. Okay, I'm gonna wear a black easy end pullover and my gray marshwear pants, and here's where they're at in your closet. Like, yes, like okay,
Is that next? Are you allowed to announce that?
No. I hope somebody else builds it. Like I said, maybe the field. They're obviously bored over there at thefield.com. I don't know if you saw but they're obviously super bored that they're calling all of my customers at Detail Boogie. So I got an idea for you guys if you're watching. Build that app. Y'all got plenty of time over there.
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
Let's listen, the title today, PPF To The Moon.
Well, we did have a point of this conversation.
We did have a point of where we were trying to go. It's always a fun road getting there. But
we just had a show before the show.
Yeah.
PPF.
What are we when we say PPF to the moon? What are we thinking? What are we talking about?
We're going to PPF the world.
Yeah.
We're going to PPF the world.
Protect everything.
Asteroid, not happen. Yeah. We're going to wrap the world. No, PPF to the moon. I mean, here's what I want to talk about.
I think it's very current, right? Social media. You brought it up. I'm like, look, I see it every single day. Different Facebook groups of detailers talking PPF. Yeah. I think it's more relevant today than ever. Why is that, Dustin?
Well, because as a business, our job is to continue to find the latest and greatest, products, protection, services that we can offer to our clients that are going somewhere else to buy that service or that product. Yeah. And so if it's feasible, if to bring that into your domain and offer that, then I think you should capitalize on it. But there's a huge catch to this. There's a huge catch. And it's a catch that I've been putting off for years.
But everybody has.
Everybody, yes.
Everybody knows. It's not like
there's a clear separation between PPF installers and detailers.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is bridge that gap. I want to say, okay, how do we get your paint correction, ceramic coating shops the guys that are already working on the outside of vehicles, and detail shops that are just doing interiors and washes.
Yeah.
PPF, they're not. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're not ready for it, but like that's not who I think's the ideal candidate.
Okay.
But somebody that's doing, corrections and coatings, kind of has the technical skills of that.
Yeah.
Is headed in the direction that they could, implement. The catch to it is just like our goals, just like we say we don't want to lose 100 pounds in 1 year or in 1 day. I don't think you can learn to be a PPF installer, a full-on installer in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
I think the way, and you did this at your shop. This idea did not come from me. I can't believe I'm about to say this.
Hold on. Give Chris a minute.
I've got to look my notebook.
42 for the time. Just go ahead and clip this. I might just.
I might have wrote that shit down one time before. Hang on, let me.
Send me the clip. I might put it on one of those forever frames and just have it on the wall.
I'm not gonna say it.
Around here. Just
I refuse to say it
on loop.
Turn the camera off and then I'll whisper it.
Have Dustin's mic muted for 2 seconds.
Yes.
Just so we can't hear it.
But the idea, here's the idea, is that we teach detailers how to bring in PPF as a service and tiptoe them into it. Yeah. So therefore, the cost of entry, the friction of entry is all this training, which you're going to have some training, but plotters and clean rooms and staffing and all this stuff will come with time. But most detailers don't have 50 grand sitting around to go buy a bunch of product they're going to waste, to build a clean room, to go to training for 5 days, to shut down their shop, to train up their staff and say, now we are full-on PPF installers.
Yeah.
Most detailers do have a want to bring the service in.
Where does that want come from, Dustin? Is it because, again, you have to ask yourself, if it's something where you're like, we're slow right now, and we want to boost in sales right now, that's where you're going to run into the most struggles, because I just don't think you can add a whole vertical in your business with the goal being instant results.
No,
it's just that simple.
No. Well, Joel LaPalm and I just literally was on a FaceTime call when I was walking in here. And he says, Dustin, the market that we are selling to is not the same market that it was 3 years ago. That's for detailers, and that's for detailers to their customers. It's not.
The customers are much more informed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're out there seeking it.
And they're and they're conscious of the dollars they're spending.
But you know what? On the macro level, it's because of how expensive it is to replace a bumper, repaint a bumper. So what ended up happening, that shift over the last 3 years, is it's now much more cost effective to go put and PPF a bumper and PPF a hood, and it gives you that insurance policy of these chips and protecting your vehicle and never getting a scratch. And the technology went up, and then because the cost of the repairs went so high, right? Mm-hmm. That there's that value that's created. Hold on, Dustin's writing something very important here.
No, sorry. I just wouldn't want to forget it. I don't want to forget it. It's going to be a huge marketing campaign. Go ahead.
I don't know where it's written in your book. I don't know where. But does that make sense? You know, it's only this last few years that shift happened. And then what also happened, Dustin, is the flood of detailers. There are way more detailers today.
So many more.
I am so excited to see how many people are there at MTE, because I would think it's going to be even double from last year.
Yeah.
But what happens is it's good growth, and it's competition in the market, and there's going to be detailers wanting to grow and make more money and figuring out different ways to do that and sell their customers more items and more services. And it's just growth. It's just good organic growth in the industry.
It is. And then the shops have to evolve. You know, the older shops have to evolve to go, what continues to separate me from the guy that's coming in? I was on the call with Tommy Trenton with Nitpicking Detailing out of Orlando or somewhere like that, Kissimmee, however you say it. Anyways, he said 2 years ago, there was 70 detailers in Polk County. That's the county he lives in. And he said he looked it up like this year because his numbers were down. He said there's 170 detailers in Polk County.
Yep.
And it's like, that's a huge growth. It's over 100%, growth. And so now that's real deal. And like I told him, I said, I think the current economy, you'll see a kind of a cleansing of our industry where the guys that really don't want to be in it, they just came in because they thought they could make a quick buck. Those tend to fall off. The ones that left you to go run a shop, I've got one that's working here now that came back, because they don't really know how to run a business. They just thought that they could make more money than they make here. That's simple. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them for it. I would have done the same thing.
Yep.
I would have never came back, but I would have done the same thing. I'm just kidding. If he's watching this, he knows I love him. But shit. So the reason is twofold. So you got these detailers that have been in business for 4 or 5 years. They've seen the numbers kind of fall off a little bit, looking for that next thing, and then also trying to separate themselves from who they were 4 years ago and who they're competing with now. So like Easy Ends, like we got mobile detailers all over the place, and we're like, we don't compete with them. Well, if you don't, then what are you doing different? Because we're all vacuuming French fries at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing different? So we knew that tint and PPF and coatings, of course, always stood out to it. But tint, PPF, that's the evolution. And then from the customer side of things, you got to think about this. It is much cheaper to protect something than it is to replace something.
Yes.
And so when we talk about, adding protection to something, we're preventing a replacement down the road.
The cars are so expensive when you buy them. It creates that sort of, you have that 2 week, 1 month, 1 year window where the customer really cares about their car more than usual and more than before, because now it's even more a larger percentage of their income. It's more of their monthly cost. It's whatever, however you want to phrase it. And then there's that window where they're like, hey, tell me about ceramic and PPF. What should I do on my car? You know what I mean? Yep. And then most of the times these are new customers, right? That weren't coming to you for detailing, right? And then you're going to gain a customer long-term for detailing, but they're looking for that service right now in the industry. I'd love to have, I know Chris is always there on the data for the searches, right?
Yeah.
Chris T. Giovanni at Detailers Roadmap. I'd love to know the numbers on it, because that's what I sense in shop,
Yeah. I mean, no, I think it's real. I mean, I think that's exactly what's happening. And so we have to kind of grow ourselves into that. Now, here's the problem.
So let's ask ourselves, how do we do it, right?
That's the catch. Like, I mean, there's a reason that we put it off for years. I mean, two or 3 years ago, the last SDC, I flew from SDC to the mobile, the PPF and Tint show in Orlando, and was talking to Lumar about putting on PPF. And these guys were really pitching it up nice and like wanting to get me in the game. And it's like, I was down there with my dad, and I'm going, who can we get to do this? Like, do we have room in the shop? Like, do we need a plotter? We need product. We're going to need training. And I'm adding up all these costs. I'm going like, this is not feasible in this moment. We were making good money on coatings. We were, the shop was full, but it's like, this is a lot. This is a mountain to tackle right here. Right. And that's the way detailers feel. So what we want to do, and now that Mike and I own Apex USA, our number one goal is to eliminate that mountain to climb. And let's just start with a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Let's start with a service that you can do where you don't have to have a plotter, where you don't have to have this advanced training, where you don't have to pull your hair out and waste $10,000 worth of product.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with smaller services, tiptoe in that we can add value on current customers that we're doing.
Yep.
So now we don't have to run all these separate marketing campaigns. We don't have to train our sales team too much. Like, it's like, these are added value items that we can say like, hey, we can do your pillars. We can do your door cups. We can do, the rock guard, whatever that's called around the fender. Like, we can do these smaller things, the thresholds. That's, by the way, I had that. They done that in my truck. My threshold always gets scratched.
Yeah. Where you get in and out.
I look down at that piece of PPF, like, you can't even see it, first of all. And I'm like, dude, this is like life-changing for me.
What about the socks?
Dude, it's even better than the sock drawer.
This is better than this. PPF is better than the socks. You heard it here first. Dustin is.
If I could PPF my sock drawer, I'd be happy. So seriously, like, okay, well, this sounds good. That's not how you're gonna do it, right? And that's what we're working on, and there is gonna require training, but we want to lay it out for you. We want to say, like, okay, step one is a simple training that's not going to cost you a week, and it's not going to cost you 10 grand. You know what I mean? Like, how do we get you getting the product in your hand, making some cuts, understanding how it's laid, start small. Here's some general pricing and some stuff that you can add to current tickets. This is kind of how you sell it. And start here. Another thing that we want to do is pre-cut patterns, pre-cut templates. So that way, now we eliminate the need for a plotter in-house right out of the gate, and so these are little things that we're trying to do to help.
Let me ask you this, because again, my first question when that comes up is what happens if they mess up that cut? They've got the car there, right? That pre-cut one, and they can't print it right there and then. Are they, you know what I mean?
You're at the mercy. I mean, you're going to have to order another kit, or you got to figure it out. Right. And so, it's a real problem. But then again, is ordering a kit.
The conversation of what should you have? What do you need? And I know you're looking at it from the APEAK side as well. And I respect that. I'm just trying to give you, a little bit of practical. Listen, if you're going to do PPF and and you're still going to do those stepping stones,
right?
Your investment has to be, I would say a 36-inch to 48-inch plotter.
A small plotter.
Yes. You don't need to go full boat for the 64-inch.
Right.
I don't think to take that leap as a business, wherever you're at, it's gonna, again, that plotter is gonna pay for itself tenfold. It's like that's like that big cost to you're starting a new business for whatever it is. I think it's like $5,000. Okay, new business, $5,000. Go get them.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
I just think that's gonna cause. It's going to be difficult for that business and create those extra headaches and layers of headaches when they're learning, where they're, you know what I mean? And the number one thing you battle with PPF is waste.
Right.
You know what I mean? So go ahead.
The catch to it is the guys are already struggling. The detailing industry, is kind of, it's done. It's got its breath taken away.
Yeah.
And so right now we're trying to push some air back into it by saying, okay, here, we're going to help you guys out. Now, you may have some wasted product. You may have to keep a car a day or two longer because you have messed something up. But we're not saying you got to go out and spend $7,000 or $10,000 in this thing to get going. But we're not saying you should be doing bumpers and hoods and use these pre-cuts and elaborate jobs anyway. We want to say, like, let's start small. If you order a couple mirrors, mirror sets, have whatever, order 3.
I'd say the mirrors are the hardest thing you're going to PPF out there. Just
that's what Hannah was saying too. So, or Russ, or Hannah or Russ, or somebody, and it's like, but let's give these guys. And by the way, we're a shop learning. Like, you can tell, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're leaning on the APEAK's global team and Russ as the head trainer, and all of this experience. Michelle and Jason and Hannah, they all
are they
have
going to be at MT. Just
yes.
Side note. Oh, yeah,
yes,
that's awesome.
They are. We're going to have an APEAK's booth. We're going to have a demo car there. We're going to be putting PPF on.
No one's going to know where to find you. Where you? Which booth are you going to be at, Dustin?
Yeah,
just so everybody knows.
Wherever I'm needed. So all the booths I have them lined up. So it'll go IGL, or I think it's APEAK's, Detail Bookie, IGL, or IGL, Detail Boogie, APEAK's.
Yeah.
Either way, whatever. It'll all be on the same road we were on last year. Basically, where Auto Geek was last year, that's where we'll be.
Yeah.
So
that's a big company to kick out. Congrats. Just saying.
No, those are friends of ours. We didn't kick them out. They just moved around. We just shifted.
Like it or not.
We just shifted because I think they didn't need as big of a space, and we were needing a little bit bigger space. So we worked it out, all of us as a group. So, but yeah. And so, like, the idea is like, all right, we want to help our industry, as and yes, we'd love to take current PPF, master installers and sell them our product too. But we know that our following is mostly detailers, and that's where our heart is near and dear to. And to see us help our industry by offering, helping them add another service to their shop where they can, get back to the glory days of detailing and actually making really good money. I mean, our shop doesn't go to 2 million on coatings. Let me just tell you. And we sell a shitload of ceramic coatings, but you know, you're in the $1 million to $2 million range. Like, to get to 2 to 5 on just ceramic coatings, I think is tough. You got to look for some other services, and that's what we did.
And again, it's a whole nother level of ticket. You know what I mean? When you go and do a Cybertruck for 10 grand and it takes you 2 days to do, you know what I mean? It's a whole nother level. I think I'm excited. I'm excited for the industry to take it in. I think it's been a long time coming. But I think, again, it's going to push a lot of businesses to their edge if they're not fully prepared.
Well, think about your business. Like, you guys were a car wash, then added detailing, then added corrections and coatings, and now you're adding PPF. Like, that is the true stair step, like from all the way at the car wash level, all the way up. And I'm not taking away from the car wash level. I'm just saying, like, that is the true, like, roadmap.
I tell everybody, you know what I mean? It's so much less about car wash, detailing, PPFs, ceramic, mobile detailing, tint. You know what I mean? It's so much not about that. It's so much more about the personnel infrastructure. It's so much more about building a team of people that want to grow. And you're able to do all of these crazy things when you start building, you know, these relationships and want not just them wanting it, but you wanting to see them succeed. And you're working for them to say, how can we do this for, you know, this next level?
Bro, you hit that nail on the head. Like,
you about to write that puppy down too?
No, you gotta. I mean, that's like everything I want in life.
Oh, now it's everything.
Is a team that can do everything. You know, a team that can do anything and wants to. And so, like,
but then you're gonna play to people's strengths. You're gonna have people that are really good at tint that aren't great at PPF. You know what I mean? But I really believe in organic growth. We're on this is gonna be year 3 of PPF. You know what I mean? We've definitely seen it more than double, triple year over year, and it's all organic. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this year, it's a lot more focus of now that because I've been doing it, been enjoying it, I've learned it.
Sure.
And now it's like now you're able to teach. You know what I mean? That's always that last level of learning something is teaching others. And then once you do that, then it's unlimited. Then you can, you know what I mean? You can teach 100 people.
Yeah, it's a snowball. It snowballs and it builds on itself. Each one teach one. And so, like, you know, I think to involve your team in it is you know, imperative. Like, you have to do that. But I mean, if you're an owner operator, like, what if I don't have a team and you know, it's like, okay,
I think that's even better. I think that's even better. And what's going to end up happening if you're just by yourself, you know what I mean? And you're like, look, I want to do PPF. I see the dollars, but I understand that it can't be a quick flip and a quick result. You know what I mean? It's an investment of your time. Ask yourself where you want to go and say, okay, I'm going to take this time to invest in myself. And I don't want to see a penny from this for 2 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and can you swallow that? If you can swallow that, you're going to be really, really successful.
Yeah. And that's, you know, in every business that I've ever had, it's not like, okay, is this paying me? It's like, it's always an investment. It doesn't matter. Even when you buy a business that's up and running, you've got to recoup that investment. So it's never about the dollar in that moment. It's about the future of that business and the future success. And so every decision that you make should always, like, have that at the forefront. It's like, okay, this is an investment for me now to recoup down the road.
Yeah. What other sort of general questions do you think that you're sort of forecasting as you're talking to detailers that you're sort of seeing that might be, you know, PPF headaches?
Yeah, apparently prep is a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, I think that detailers, and if you ask a PPF installer, can a detailer prep a car? And I hear, like, resoundingly no.
Why do you think that? Why is that?
Because they say it has to be on such another level of clean. And we're used to, okay, a car has to be detailed, right? But if they didn't pay for the engine bay, then we're not doing the engine bay. Okay. Yeah. Or if they didn't pay for the interior, then maybe we're not doing the thresholds, you know, whatever. Like, these are just examples, but they're like, everything has to be cleaned. everything. And so if you go into it with a detailer's mindset, well, I'm PPF in the hood, so I'm only going to clean the hood. I'm going to polish it and prep it, whatever, like I would have coatings. I don't have to worry about the underneath. I don't have to worry about the engine bay. I don't have to worry about the
you know what's pretty crazy though? So let's just say, again, I'm not saying it's like a hood to hell, right? But if you've got a lightly scratched up hood and you just decon it and put the PPF on it, you know you won't see the scratches underneath it.
Really?
Yeah. Just grab a square, find a scratch, and put PPF over it, and you don't have to do all that extra prep. Right. It's actually less prep.
So when I say prep, what I'm understanding is the cleanliness of it. It has nothing to do with polishing. Matter of fact, they didn't really. It was more like clay bar. You know, stuck on contaminant, but like the underneath, where the film sticks, it's going to pick up contaminants.
Yes. So again, the contamination, I think would be the number one thing that I think every PPF installer battles, even in a clean room. It doesn't even matter. Like anytime you're going from the sheet of paper to the car, you know, I mean, you catch one little thing. But what's nice is, again, if you can always go get it. PPF is a lot. You can manhandle the crap out of it.
That is something I learned. I was like, when I was watching Russ stretch it, and I'm like, and peel it off, and I'm like, I'm thinking of a sticker. You know, if you ever stuck a sticker and you peel it off and it wrinkles, and you're like, it's useless.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's gonna run out of sticky. Like it's gonna like something's fixing to stop doing that.
It doesn't run out of sticky, and you know, it's funny. It doesn't necessarily even adhere for a few days. So you know, I've lifted stuff up the next day and been good on lift lines and not had any issues. Right. If there's a little piece of something that you didn't see the day before, or you wouldn't believe, as long as there's no air. Let's say you forget a bubble. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of moisture under there. That it's going to breathe through, and as long as you don't have too much, you know, soap in your slip solution, you know what I mean, and it's going to just suck right down to the paint, and you're going to be in good shape there.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, I mean, there's a multitude of things that detailers are going to, you know, run into. But you know what? There was a multitude when we were teaching them late coatings. I mean, we spent the last 10 years trying to train them to put product on the applicator and wipe it on paint.
But the hardest part of coatings is the correction.
All right. Yes. It is, but that wasn't established when coatings first come out. Like trainings didn't revolve around paint correction.
Coatings were really tough to put on. They were, I mean, more
that they were. They were extremely hard to take off.
Yeah.
And so nobody taught paint correction. Paint correction didn't really come out until we thought, okay, the coatings make it look so good. Wouldn't it look great if we could get the marring out?
Yeah.
And so then we start because like we, you know, correction before that was enhancement. It really was just enhancement. It was unless you were rotary, you know, polishing, you really weren't doing heavy correction. Okay.
Yeah.
It was more enhancement. And so then coatings come out, and then they teach us, you know, for years, it was like, how to install. Then it went into paint correction, paint correction.
Let me ask you this. Why did the detail industry not, right? Because I think it's obvious. It's leaning PPF, right? Why is it not leaning wet sanding, paint correction?
Because the paint's so thin. I mean, the paint's getting thinner, so we can do less work. And I think you should opt to sand versus heavy polishing. I think sanding is less aggressive, less heat, more consistent than it is heavy polishing.
And you know, and again, I know how to wet sand, but it's a matter of it has not crossed my mind to train someone else to do it in the last year. It's just not where the business model, the efficiency of the business is going. Would you agree or disagree?
Oh, I agree.
You do boats, so I'm gonna.
Okay, so boats are a different subject. You sanding is mandatory.
Yes.
Like it's, but so think about corrections.
Yeah.
The reason that corrections are not where they were is because what happened is people realizes I'm spending 16, 20 hours to get this thing flawless.
Yep.
And I coat it, and a year later it comes back and it looks just like it did when it left here. People are not going to continue to pay that kind of money. And what was really happening was people were undercharging for their time. The detailer was doing it for the gram, and it's like, I want this thing perfect. So when I take a light with a picture with a flashlight on it, I don't see one scratch. But they weren't getting paid for it.
They weren't getting paid for it, and the customer, you know what I mean?
They can't even see that level. No.
Yeah, they're not looking for it. You know what I mean? And I think what's going to be interesting in the PPF space is there's like these different levels of installers, and there's amazing installers that I've met, and I hope to one day get to that level. But what are the customers, right? You're catering to the masses or the classes, and the PPF installers right now are catering to the classes that high end supercar can charge whatever they want and do a perfect install. But what's happening is the masses want this service on their car.
Well, anytime the high end people start doing something, it's only a matter of time before it trickles down into the middle class.
Yeah.
Like it's only a matter of time before I see, somebody above my level doing something that I don't feel a way to figure out how to do it myself. If he's protecting his Porsche, shouldn't I protect my GMC? And then so how do we make that, like, how do we get that into an affordable price range? So like, I think that is the, inevitably that's how it kind of rolls down. I mean, coatings were for cars, show cars and museum cars. And then all of a sudden now you see it now. I mean, we've coated a Kia last week, and it's like,
every car on the road, if it's a new Kia, it's 40 grand.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. So like but you would have never seen a Kia in here of it. Usually it was the Cadillac Escalade, right?
Yeah.
Or the Land Rover. Now Kias are coming in and that's great. That's what we want. But the same way with PPF.
Yeah.
Like, now it's not only my Lamborghini, but I need to get my, SUV code.
So then it becomes, okay, what do you want to, because once you can learn how to do it, you're going to be able to do any car. And as soon as you do the same car twice, it is way faster, way easier. It's just that first time you're doing, what I mean? After you do a Tesla bumper 3 times, you're going to be able to do the next 100 just as easily.
Really?
Yeah. And then what the charging, right? So now it's going to be really interesting what happens to what do people want to charge for their time? Because the fixed cost is the film.
Right.
It's going to cost me the same it costs you to get, for the film.
Sure.
What do we want to charge for our level of expertise, our time? And you got to ask yourself, how does that fall on the customer, right? How is a customer going to take that in?
When they have to have their transmission rebuilt, the parts cost the shop the same price nationwide, essentially.
Yeah.
It's skilled labor. So you charge a premium because this is something that the customer could not go home and do themselves.
Yep.
Anytime there's a gap between what they can do and they absolutely cannot do, there is a premium charge on top of that because of the cost of entry. You gotta learn how to do it. You gotta, hone the craft. You gotta, spend the time and experience and money and training and things like that. And then there's the risk factor of waste. And so all those factors.
First couple jobs, you're going to be prepared to lose money on it. You would much rather put out good work than, you know what I mean? That's your work going out on the road. That's how I always phrase it. For those first jobs, I just want them. I don't care. What did I do? The first Tesla window, and that's frameless, super easy, right? I did it like 3, 4, 5 times when I was tinting it. I'm sorry. Yeah. And I was like, look, I just want this to be perfect because these are some of the first, tint jobs going out on the road.
But it's unfair to think that detailers didn't fight the same exact problem on the first car they coated or the first car they corrected and the first 20 cars they polished or sanded or whatever. When they were learning how to do it, they fought the same problems. We lost money. We damaged paint. We had to replace this. We did that. Like these are guys that have fought this battle before and won.
Yeah.
And all they've got to do is fight the battle again. There's, and yes, I think that installing takes a special kind of person. Like I think there's a difference in patience and precision.
Yeah.
But I think that you're pulling from a class of people that were already, most people are attention to detail in a detailing industry and they work with their hands and they are skilled labor in a sense. So it's like, it's essentially teaching them a new service. And so
it's like going to, high school to college or college to graduate school. You know what I mean? You're just taking and adding more skills to your belt that no one can take away from you. Once you do it, you do it. It's just making that leap and making sure you have that financial and that business know-how of where you're going. You know what I mean? And sort of
who you're selling to.
Yeah, and who you're selling to.
Yeah.
One question I had for you that I think was really important is the tint versus PPF. You can't do both right off the bat. I don't think I've seen anyone do that. But and having not done either, how was that decision for EZN deciding on PPF first, then tint?
The marine side. I had a heavy interest in marine PPF, and I feel like it will be the solution that coatings was supposed to be. Coatings serve a purpose in the marine world. They serve a big purpose. However, the claims that were stated years ago of now it's it eliminates oxidation, it's bulletproof, all those claims, we've now realized that that's not possible. So now here comes PPF, where it adds a true, encapsulate that gel coat, and it fills, it solidifies the pores of the gel, which will eliminate oxidation and fading, and reduce dock rash, and it will be the product on the hull sides that boat owners were looking for. It's like the ultimate protection.
Yeah.
And so, and I saw this way back. I saw this years ago. I was speaking at a training event down in South Florida at Michael Marino's shop. He's with the Marine Detail Supplies, and they were just sticking on their first piece of PPF. I was in his shop, and he's like, "Man, look at this. I'm thinking about doing this thing." And now they are Yacht Armor. It's a big company now.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, "Michael, I said, if this works, I mean, I'm at the boat. There's a sample piece on there, and I said, if this works, this changes an entire industry."
Yeah, I think again, we're not going to get into the boats. It just doesn't fit. But I think that is such a massive white space for the PPF side,
it's huge.
where EZN will be just EZN boats. You know what I mean? Like it's that large of an industry.
It's that large. I mean, and it's been that big for us for coatings. So now you take and put something on there that's impermanent, like that really, that really it does the job that we were selling years ago, that we've realized, like, okay, can only do that for so long.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about we can extend the life of that.
Has it gotten more expensive to repair dock rash, and you know what I mean? Like all these things that can happen to a boat that PPF would eliminate. How expensive has that gotten in the industry? Because I just have no idea.
Just like paint, now the gel coat's thinner.
Yeah.
And every time you sand on gel coat, you are getting into more porous gel coat, which then oxidizes. So you're doing like every time you sand and polish a boat, you are going into worse and worse gel coat. And what I mean worse is like it's more porous, which means it's more susceptible to oxidize. And now once you've broken that seal, like it's a process. The gel coat is designed, its nature is to oxidize, and that's what everybody wants to eliminate.
Yeah.
So if we can stop that process from happening altogether, you have solved a major problem. And then you think about the color, the color PPF.
Let's not get crazy now, Dustin. Take it easy. Let's not get crazy on the color yet.
Well, the problem with boats is that you can't just change the color of your boat.
Yeah.
Like you could go have a car resprayed, and yes, you can do that. A boat, that is just not normal. Like that is not of the norm, so. So that's another reason. So that was the reason for kind of jumping window tint. We are offering window tint.
It's on the sweatshirt. It's on the sweatshirt.
Yeah, and so we have a subcontractor that's going to come in and do our tint until we're trained up and ready to do it. So we can provide that service without having to truly hone that craft. But I just that was our reason for PPF over tint.
No, that makes sense. Again, I don't think. Maybe maybe there isn't a need for tint on boats, but
it's minimal. I mean, there is, but like it's not something. I mean, I had my windows tinted on a boat that I had years ago.
It's just fun. It's just exciting. You know what I mean? It's 2025, PPF to the moon. You know what
PPF to the moon. I love it.
There's gonna be more PPF installers that are trained this year than any other year.
Yep. We plan on doing 50% of it.
We'll take 1%.
What's up, Billy Smith? Happy Friday, brother.
Happy Friday.
Jordan Lee, what's up? Happy Friday. What's they say? Friday?
Friday. Yeah, I like that.
Friday. Anthony Passol, congratulations to him making the full-time move. Turning in his 2-week notice at work, and he is making a move on full-time detailing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
All right, Jordan Lee, I think pre-cuts are great for auxiliary jobs, door cups, edges, door seals, mirror caps, starting with those, and become familiar if you can't throw money down for a plotter right away. The profit margin there will help you save. Yeah, start small. Yeah, that's essentially what we're talking about.
Yep.
Love it. Booth booth 1025. Booth 1025, that's where we'll be. We'll see y'all there, everybody. Love it.
It's right around the corner.
The masses don't want to pay the prices for install quality, but they see on the gram.
That's right, PPF installs and on the gram.
Yeah.
And it just takes a minute to get to that level of quality. And again, now it's going to be about those first couple of PPF jobs you're doing are some of your best detailing customers, right?
Right.
And they have that trust in you because you did such a good job there. And it's going to give you some wiggle room to always do the right thing. I think that's the easiest. So if it doesn't come out perfect, discount it and say, hey, look, this is one I appreciate you putting that trust. Didn't love how this comes. We'll rip it off. Get some rock chips in it. We'll rip it off in a year.
Yeah.
We'll do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it gives you that opportunity.
What it does too is it allows you to be honest in front of your customers.
Yeah.
When we're learning a service and when we're like, it's exciting for us to say, hey, we can do this, and we're gonna, we're new to it. We're gonna learn. So we're going to offer you this at a discounted rate, and we're going to work our way through this. And it's cool to see the customers receptive to that. We've already had a bunch of them reach out and ask for the learn service, so
yeah,
it's cool. All right. Yeah, Scott, exactly. It's cool. Residential PPF counters. Mine's going dead. You have to read it.
I think that's something that there's people sort of dipping their toes in as well. It just sort of creates that mobile aspect.
It does.
Unless you and that team aspect, like, do you have the team to be able to go to people's houses to do that? There's a lot of stainless steel fridges out there.
There is, but the thing about this is there's no rain, there's no snow, there's no
that's forever. Yeah,
in a house,
no rocks.
What I'm saying is, like, you can go do that anytime. Like, residential opens the door for business, 7 days a week. Like, you're not dodging the elements, you're not out in the heat, you're not out in the cold. There's a whole bonus to doing residential stuff versus automotive stuff. You can't drive the car in the living room to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you're in a shop, you're in a garage, something like that, and boats are on the other side of that scale. Like, like, you're lucky to get in an enclosed area with a boat. But anyways, great show.
Yeah, great show. Stuff. I think we'll have a couple more shows like this throughout the year. We're going to be tracking EZN on their journey.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's happy Friday, y'all.
Yeah, happy Friday, man. Enjoyed the conversation. Glad to have you back, brother. And we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Peace out.
Peace.